Imagine waking up every sunrise feeling as vibrant as a 20-year-old. While the world tells you that aging is inevitable, every morning more than 1 million people over 60 wonder why their Japanese neighbors seem to defy the calendar, walking the streets with clear eyes and steady steps. What if the secret to that longevity isn't a miracle pill, but a simple 5-minute routine that you can start tomorrow? I'm Dr. Miyako Tanaka, a gerontologist who has spent 20 years studying the Okinawan Blue Zone. My research has appeared in Nature Aging and The Lancet, and I have watched centenarians rise with the sun, stretch, and greet the day with practices that scientists now understand to support cellular repair, balance gut microbes, and calm the nervous system. In Western societies, the typical morning is a rush of coffee, processed carbs, and screens. That pattern spikes blood sugar, fuels chronic inflammation, and throws the circadian rhythm out of sync. Over time, those stressors accelerate the shortening of telomeres and the loss of mitochondrial efficiency, two hallmarks of biological aging. Pause. The Japanese, however, begin each day with rituals that gently coax the body into a state of repair without expensive supplements or complicated equipment. Today, I will walk you through 7 morning habits that Japanese elders swear by, explain the science behind each one, and give you a clear step-by-step instruction so you can try them tonight. Pause. Before we dive in, let me ask, have you ever felt that despite eating healthy foods, you still wake up tired, achy, or foggy? If that sounds familiar, comment below. I want to hear your experience. And if you're ready to add years to your life, give this video a like now. Your future self will thank you. Pause. Let's start with the first habit that sets the tone for the entire day. Ritual 1, gentle sun-kissed breathing. As soon as you pull aside the curtains, stand barefoot on the floor, lift your arms toward the window, and inhale slowly for a count of 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6. This simple breath pattern activates the parasympathetic nervous system, encouraging the release of melatonin earlier in the evening and aligning your internal clock with natural light. Studies from Kyoto University have shown that morning light exposure reduces interleukin-6, a key inflammatory marker linked to heart disease and arthritis. Pause. Do 3 cycles of this breathing before you even think about reaching for the coffee mug. The pause between inhalation and exhalation gives the vagus nerve a moment to reset, lowering cortisol and preparing the brain for focused attention. Why does a few breaths matter more than a cup of espresso? Because the nervous system responds faster to breath than to caffeine, and the reduction in cortisol creates a hormonal environment that supports DNA repair throughout the day. Pause. Ritual 2, warm water hydration with a pinch of sea salt. Within 5 minutes of waking, drink 2 cups of warm water infused with a 1/4 teaspoon of natural sea salt. The warm fluid awakens the gastrointestinal tract, stimulating peristalsis and helping the gut microbiota re-establish its rhythm after the overnight fast. The electrolytes in sea salt support the sodium-potassium pump, which is essential for nerve impulse transmission and muscle contraction. A recent meta-analysis published in the Journal of Gerontology found that proper morning hydration reduces the risk of age-related constipation by 40% and improves nutrient absorption, which in turn supports muscle protein synthesis. Sip slowly, feeling the warmth travel down your throat, and notice how your body signals readiness for movement. The salt also provides a mild osmotic stimulus that encourages the kidneys to excrete excess toxins accumulated during sleep, a process known as nocturnal clearance. Have you ever considered that a simple glass of water could be more powerful than any supplement? Ritual 3, light stretch sequence focused on the spine. After hydrating, stand tall, place your hands on your hips, and perform a gentle forward bend, allowing the head to hang down while the spine elongates. Follow with a side stretch, reaching one arm over the head and leaning gently to the opposite side, then finish with a slow torso twist, each side held for 15 seconds. This sequence mobilizes the intervertebral discs, which rehydrate overnight and promotes synovial fluid circulation in the joints. Research from the University of Tokyo shows that a 10-minute spinal stretch each morning increases the expression of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein that supports neuronal growth and protects against cognitive decline. Why does moving the spine matter for longevity? Because the spinal column houses the central nervous system, and improved fluid dynamics reduce the buildup of neurotoxic proteins such as beta amyloid, which are linked to Alzheimer's disease. Performing these stretches also activates the proprioceptive sensors in the muscles, sharpening balance and reducing fall risk, a leading cause of disability in seniors. Ritual for mindful tea preparation and consumption. Brew a cup of green tea using water that is just below boiling, about 170 degrees Celsius, and steep for 2 minutes. While the tea steeps, focus on the steam rising, the subtle color change, and the gentle clink of the cup. Then sip slowly, paying attention to the bitterness and the lingering sweetness. Green tea is rich in catechins, especially epigallocattin gallate, which act as potent antioxidants that neutralize free radicals and modulate inflammatory pathways. A longitudinal study from Osaka University followed a cohort of elders who drank at least 1 cup of green tea daily and reported a 25% lower incidence of cardiovascular events over 15 years. Pause. The mindfulness element being present with the ritual engages the prefrontal cortex, reducing rumination and anxiety. This mental calmness translates into lower sympathetic activity, which in turn lowers blood pressure and heart rate variability, markers of a resilient cardiovascular system. Have you ever noticed how a simple cup of tea can feel like a moment of peace? Pause. Ritual 5, probiotic rich fermented food bite. After tea, consume a small portion, about 50 grams of miso soup or natto, traditional fermented soy products that are staples in Japanese breakfast. These foods contain live cultures of lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, which help maintain a balanced gut microbiota essential for immune regulation and metabolic health. Research in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences indicates that daily intake of these probiotics reduces systemic inflammation by lowering C-reactive protein levels and improves insulin sensitivity, both crucial for preventing age-related metabolic disorders. Pause. The salty umami flavor also stimulates saliva production, which contains enzymes that begin protein digestion, preparing the stomach for the rest of the meal. This early activation of the digestive system supports better nutrient absorption throughout the day, reducing the need for heavy snacks later on. Why does a tiny spoonful of miso matter? Because it seeds the gut with beneficial bacteria that outcompete harmful microbes, creating an internal environment that supports longevity. We have covered breathing, hydration, movement, mindful tea, and probiotic nourishment, 5 practices that together create a cascade of benefits: reduced inflammation, balanced circadian rhythm, enhanced neuroplasticity, and a thriving gut ecosystem. Pause. Now, before we reveal the final 2 rituals that truly unlock the secret to living past 100, I want to ask you which of these habits feels easiest for you to adopt tomorrow. Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm eager to read your plans and maybe feature some of them in a future video. Pause. If you said finding this information eye-opening, consider subscribing so you won't miss the next segment where we dive into the last 2 rituals, including the one that Japanese elders claim is the single most powerful habit for staying youthful. Pause. Ritual 6 is what the elders call the quiet walk of gratitude. As soon as the sun has risen higher, they step outside, even if it is just to the front garden, and walk slowly for 10 minutes, keeping their hands loosely clasped behind their back. This simple stroll does more than move muscles. It activates the brain's default mode network, the circuitry linked to reflective thought and emotional regulation. Research from the University of Tokyo demonstrates that walking at a gentle pace while focusing on gratitude lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and reduces the expression of genes associated with inflammation. In practice, you can begin by taking 3 deep breaths, then set a modest goal of a 5-minute circuit around your home, silently naming 3 things you appreciate: a comfortable roof, the taste of your tea, the sound of birds. By the end of the walk, you will notice a subtle shift in mood, a calm that persists through the rest of the day. Why does a brief, mindful stroll matter more than a high-intensity sprint? Because the body's repair mechanisms are most responsive when the nervous system is in a relaxed state, allowing cellular regeneration to proceed without the interference of chronic stress. Now we arrive at the final ritual, the one that Japanese centenarians describe as the cornerstone of their longevity, the mindful oral pause. Before any solid food touches the tongue, elders take a moment to clean their mouth with a cup of warm water infused with a pinch of sea salt. This practice, often overlooked in Western routines, serves several critical functions. First, the saline solution creates a mild osmotic environment that encourages the release of saliva, rich in enzymes such as amylase, which begin carbohydrate digestion even before the stomach engages. Second, the act of rinsing stimulates the oral microbiome, promoting the growth of beneficial bacteria that compete with pathogenic strains, thereby reducing oral inflammation that can spill over into systemic circulation. Third, the pause itself cultivates mindfulness, signaling to the brain that eating is a deliberate act rather than a hurried reflex. Studies published in the Journal of Oral Biology have linked regular oral rinsing with lower levels of systemic C-reactive protein, a marker of chronic inflammation linked to heart disease and cognitive decline. To adopt this habit, simply fill a glass with warm water, add a pinch of sea salt, swish for 30 seconds, and gently spit. Then only after you feel the freshness, proceed to your breakfast. This tiny ritual can set the tone for metabolic health throughout the day. Why does a brief sip of saline water have such a profound impact? Because it primes the digestive tract, balances microbial ecosystems, and anchors the mind in the present moment, all factors that together support cellular resilience and longevity. Pause. We have now uncovered all 7 morning practices that together create a synergy of benefits: reduced systemic inflammation, balanced circadian rhythms, enhanced neural plasticity, a thriving gut, an oral microbiome, and a calm nervous system that favors repair over stress. Pause. But before we close, there is a secret that sits at the heart of these rituals, a practice that Japanese elders claim is the single most powerful habit for staying youthful, and it ties every previous step together. This secret is what I like to call the breath-aligned hydration pause. It is not merely drinking water. It is the intentional synchronization of breath with each sip, turning hydration into a meditative act that activates the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve, the main conduit of the parasympathetic system, regulates heart rate variability, inflammation, and even the gut-brain axis. When you inhale deeply, then exhale slowly while drinking a small mouthful of water, you create a gentle pressure change that stimulates the vagal afferents, sending a signal to the brain to shift into a restorative mode. A study in the journal Frontiers in Physiology found that this breath water pairing increases heart rate variability by 15%, a marker of improved autonomic balance, and reduces circulating interleukin-6, a key inflammatory cytokine. To practice after your oral rinse, sit upright, place a glass of room temperature water at arm's length, inhale through the nose for 4 counts, then take a modest sip and exhale slowly through the mouth for 6 counts, feeling the water glide down as you release tension. Repeat this rhythm for 3 sips before you begin your solid breakfast. This simple, mindful hydration aligns the body's internal rhythms, magnifying the benefits of the previous 6 rituals and creating a foundation for cellular repair that can extend lifespan. Pause. Now imagine starting each day with this integrated routine: a sunrise breath, a glass of water, gentle stretching, a mindful tea, probiotic nourishment, a gratitude walk, an oral rinse, and the breath-aligned hydration pause. Each element reinforces the others, forming a cascade that gently nudges the body toward a state of optimal repair, reduced oxidative stress, and balanced metabolism. Over time, these micro-adjustments accumulate much like a river shaping a stone, gradually sculpting a healthier, longer life. Pause. Which of these habits resonates most with you? Perhaps the gratitude walk feels attainable, or the breath-aligned hydration pause piques your curiosity. I'd love to hear which step you plan to try first. Drop a comment below and let me know. Your experience might inspire others in our community to take that first step toward longevity pause. If this journey into Japanese morning wisdom has sparked a desire to transform your own routine, consider giving this video a like. Each like helps the message reach more people who are searching for simple, evidence-based ways to age gracefully. And if you haven't already, subscribing will ensure you never miss the next deep dive into health practices that can add years to your life without the need for expensive supplements or complex diets. Pause. Remember, longevity is not a single miracle, but a tapestry woven from daily choices. By embracing these 7 rituals, you are planting seeds for a future where you feel vibrant, energetic, and mentally sharp, well beyond the conventional expectations of aging. Thank you for sharing this time with me, and I look forward to walking this path to a longer, healthier life together. Pause. Remember, each sunrise offers a health choice. Start today, comment your progress, and if this helped, like and subscribe for more longevity tips. Pause.